Sulbutamine has been shown to boost motivation, improve focus, enhance memory, and to alleviate depression. Sulbutamine is a synthetic derivative of vitamin B1 or thiamine. Thiamine was the first B vitamin to be discovered by researchers. Sulbutamine is simply two vitamin B1 molecules that are joined together. This chemical bond helps the thiamine more easily cross the blood-brain barrier. Japanese scientists first synthesized sulbuthiamine in an attempt to quell a health crisis within the Japanese population. After World War II, the Japanese diet largely consisted of rice. This left them deficient in several key nutrients, including thiamine. Insufficient thiamine led to a central nervous system disorder called beriberi, but supplementing with thiamine alone didn't help because of its poor bioavailability, and a lot of thiamine was needed to cure beriberi symptoms. Sulbuthiamine is far more bioavailable than standard thiamine. It's fat-soluble, which helps it more easily cross the blood-brain barrier. The discovery of sulbuthiamine cured the Japanese population of the life-threatening disease, and it's since been tested and used throughout the world with much success. Thiamine is a coenzyme used by your body to metabolize food for energy and to maintain proper heart, nerve, and brain function. It also helps to digest and to extract energy from food. It turns nutrients into adenosine triphosphate. The ATP is the fuel that's created by your cell's mitochondria. Thiamine helps to convert carbohydrates into glucose, the energy your body uses for your brain and your nervous system. One more thing about the thiamine, it contributes to the development of the myelin sheath, which wraps around axons to help protect them from damage. Thiamine is critical for increasing focus, energy, and for preventing memory loss. It can ward off inflammation. Healthy brain function is crucial for good decision-making. Thiamine is essential for producing the neurotransmitter acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is used to relay messages between neurons in your brain, and it's critical for cognition, learning, and for memory. Thiamine helps your body to withstand stress. A lack of energy can contribute to poor mood and motivation. Thiamine can boost your mood, and it can defend against depression and anxiety. Sulbuthiamine is a synthetic version of thiamine. The Japanese researchers synthesized it by bonding two thiamine molecules. Your body doesn't produce thiamine on its own, so you must get it from food like beef, brewer's yeast, legumes, milk, nuts, and others. But thiamine has poor bioavailability. By synthesizing thiamine and producing sulbuthiamine, you end up with a fat-soluble compound that is easily digested, and it readily crosses the blood-brain barrier. Sulbuthiamine is the synthetic version of thiamine. It's two thiamine molecules chemically bound. Thiamine is water-soluble, so it doesn't easily cross the blood-brain barrier. The sulbuthiamine is fat-soluble, so this easily crosses the blood-brain barrier. Sulbuthiamine functions in the body just like thiamine, but because it's more bioavailable, it's more effective than thiamine. Once in your brain, it increases the levels of thiamine pyrophosphate. The thiamine pyrophosphate is directly involved in the citric acid cycle in your brain. This cycle breaks fatty acids, amino acids, and monosaccharides into smaller molecules that produce the ATP energy within your mitochondria, and it provides the building blocks of the molecules needed to produce brain cells. Brain regions that are affected by a thiamine deficiency include the cerebellum, the mammillary bodies, the thalamus, the hypothalamus, and the brainstem. A deficiency of TPP can eventually show up as Wernicke encephalopathy and Korsakoff syndrome. In our society, this syndrome is typically caused by chronic alcoholism. It can also occur after bariatric surgery for obesity, Crohn's disease, anorexia, or if you're on kidney dialysis. The symptoms of Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome include confusion, inability to form memories, loss of memories and muscle coordination, confabulation, which is making up stories, and vision changes. and it can ultimately and very rapidly lead to coma and death. Less severe cases of thiamine deficiency include fatigue, weight loss, irritability, and confusion. Sulbuthyamine also contributes to the production of the enzyme PDH, and this is essential in making the neurotransmitter acetylcholine, and for the synthesis of myelin, which forms a sheath around the axons attached to neurons, ensuring that these neurons can conduct signals. The citric acid cycle and the enzyme alpha-KGDH play a role in maintaining optimal levels of the neurotransmitters glutamate and GABA in your brain. When thiamine levels decrease, the activity of these enzymes is also reduced. We depend on our diet for thiamine. Very little thiamine is stored in our body, and depletion can occur within just 2 weeks. A thiamine deficiency can be caused by alcoholism, Alzheimer's disease, anemia, athletes who reduce food intake, cancer, clogged arteries, Crohn's disease, diabetes, diarrhea, and kidney disease, and even a poor diet. Low thiamine levels can slow the creation of ATP. Low thiamine levels can cause problems with memory, learning, recall, and perception, and acetylcholine levels also decline. All of these changes can happen at any age. They're a product of the food we eat, what we drink, the lifestyle habits, and the air we breathe, and more. Sulbuthyamine can help age-related cognitive decline, as well as a student looking to do better in school, by boosting acetylcholine, dopamine, and GABA in the brain, and increased brain energy by creating ATP within the mitochondria, and by building myelin sheaths that help to protect our axons. Sulbuthyamine is directly involved in the citric acid cycle, and this provides adenosine triphosphate, or ATP, energy created within the mitochondria. Sulbuthyamine also plays a role in maintaining optimal levels of the neurotransmitter glutamate and GABA, and it contributes to the production of the enzyme PDH, which is essential in making the neurotransmitter acetylcholine. Sulbuthyamine will boost cognition, memory, and decision-making, and it has very effective anxiolytic qualities. Sulbuthyamine, the fat-soluble form of thiamine, can cross the blood-brain barrier, and it's been shown to improve glutaminergic, cholinergic, and dopaminergic neurological transmissions. It may also increase the density of the D1 dopamine receptor. As a study aid on its own, sulbuthyamine seems to increase attention span for many users, and when it's combined with caffeine or any of the racetams, many report being able to work effortlessly for hours on end. Study and work seems less stressful. Sulbuthyamine boosts motivation, and many report that it gives them the drive that they need to study or to work. Sulbuthyamine helps to provide laser-like focus at work and at school. Some report even with the most tedious of tasks, while also being able to stay in a very good mood. Many users report being able to articulate thoughts and having improved speaking ability. Language and vocabulary seems to flow effortlessly. Thoughts and ideas come with less effort. Sulbuthyamine can be more effective than prescription antidepressants and without side effects. You should be able to experience the effects of sulbuthyamine soon after you take it. A study at the University of Wales, Swansea in the UK worked with 120 young adult females. The study participants took either a placebo or 50 milligrams of the thiamine for 2 months. Mood, memory, and reaction times were monitored before and after taking the tablets. The results indicate that after 2 months of the thiamine supplementation, the young females were more clear-headed, felt more composed and energetic. Their reaction times improved, and they had improved mood. If you deal with chronic fatigue, sulbuthyamine may be a better option than another cup of coffee or a stimulant. Researchers at the hospital Saint Anton in Paris studied 326 patients. All suffered from chronic fatigue. The patients were given 400 milligrams or 600 milligrams of sulbuthyamine daily, or a placebo in this double-blind parallel group study. The patients were tested on the 7th and the 28th days of the trial. Those that used 600 milligrams of sulbuthiamine had less fatigue. Poor memory is associated with low levels of choline activity in the brain. Choline is a precursor to the neurotransmitter acetylcholine. Acetylcholine transmission between neurons helps in memory formation. Scientists decided to find out if sulbuthiamine could help to boost the choline uptake. They gave a group of mice sulbuthiamine for 10 days, and then they tested their memory. The findings suggest that sulbuthiamine improved the memory formation, and it was due to an increase in the choline activity in the brain. Another study in France involved giving sulbuthiamine or a saline solution to rats for 9 weeks. The results of the study concluded that sulbuthiamine provided better working and episodic memory. Many people use sulbuthiamine for a boost in physical energy, and it's created some controversy in professional sports. The Moscow Anti-Doping Center analyzed 16,000 blood samples in a Russian lab in 2009. They were looking for anabolic steroids in athletes. They found that 100 samples contained sulbuthiamine. These samples were collected in competition, indicating that sulbuthiamine was intentionally administered for its ergogenic and its mild stimulating properties. One small study was conducted with 20 patients who were suffering from psychogenic erectile dysfunction. This type of erectile dysfunction is defined as the inability to achieve or to maintain an erection because of psychological factors. The men were given a prescription form of sulbuthiamine for 30 days. 16 of the men showed a significant improvement based on the International Index of Erectile Function. 3 of the 6 men with arterial disorders in their penis showed that sulbuthiamine corrected the problem. The study concluded that erectile dysfunction can be effectively treated with sulbuthiamine. The recommended sulbuthiamine dose is 400 mg to 1000 mg per day. Higher doses should be split, with one dose in the morning and the other early in the afternoon. Some users warn about dosing sulbuthiamine too late in the day. It's a mild stimulant, so it could interfere with sleep. If you're just starting out with sulbuthiamine, it's suggested starting with a lower dose to first see how your body reacts. Tolerance can be a problem with sulbuthiamine, so when taking it for extended periods, you might find it's beneficial to cycle on and off the supplement. For example, take sulbuthiamine for 5 days and take 2 days off before the next dose. The powder has a very unpleasant taste, so it's advised to take it in capsule form. Sulbuthiamine is fat-soluble, so take it with a tablespoon of coconut oil or olive oil for better absorption. Sulbuthiamine is non-toxic, so it's considered well tolerated and safe. Side effects are rare, but they can include skin rashes and eczema-like outbreaks at higher doses. It can also create mood swings, particularly if you're bipolar or you're taking bipolar medication. If you take sulbuthiamine late in the day, you might find it interferes with sleep. Some find it has mild stimulant effects. There's some reports that it can be addictive. If you have addiction-like tendencies, you might want to be cautious about using this supplement. It does affect dopamine levels in the brain, so this could explain why. Sulbuthiamine is especially helpful for those who are suffering from depression. Experience shows that it helps to stop and reverse the symptoms associated with depression, likely because this nutrient helps to boost the activity of dopamine, serotonin, GABA, and glutamate in the brain. Some consider it to be more effective and safer than any prescription antidepressant that they've ever tried. It's particularly helpful to students and executives who want to boost cognition, learning, and memory. It can produce a noticeable increase in mental clarity and give you a significant energy boost physically and mentally. You'll feel more awake and alert without the side effects that you get from stimulants like caffeine. It also mixes very well with racetams like piracetam and aniracetam.